Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Ahari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Ahari Radha Madhava Kunjabi Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yasodhanandana Praja Janaran Jana Yasodhanandana Praja Janaran Janha Yasodhanandana Praja Janaran Janha Yamuna Tira Vanachahariyam Yamuna Tira Vanachahariyam Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Ahari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Ahari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astatarush Srimad Divine Grace Shila Abai Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON founder, BBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki. Antaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Srila Vyasadev ki. Guru Parampara ki. Bhaktivedanta Purports ki. ISKCON Pune Yatra ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna. So this morning we are very blessed and honored to have with us the Association of His Holiness Bhakti Brihat Bhagavat Swami Maharaj. So Maharaj, of course, has come before and many of us know him, but we'll give a short introduction. So Maharaj is a former educationist and he joined ISKCON in Durban, South Africa in 1983. He served as the former president of ISKCON Durban and ISKCON Vrindavan in India. He is a motivational speaker and leading distributor of transcendental literature of the translations and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Bhakti Brihat Bhagavat Swami founded the Bhaktivedanta College of Education and Culture, BCEC, in 1991, which offers bridging courses like Japa Ashray course, Kirtan Ashray course, Bhakti Sadachar course, Yoga Ladder, etc. The courses leading up to Bhakti Shastri degree, Bhakti Vaibhav degree and Bhakti Vedanta degree. To date, that is January 2022, over 42,000 students attended courses in BCEC worldwide, including Hong Kong, Philippines, Malaysia, India, England, Ireland, Canada, USA, Mexico, Trinidad, Guyana, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa and Mauritius. Maharaj serves as the director of ISKCON Leadership Education and Development System, ISKCON Leads, which facilitates leadership training. He travels internationally preaching and teaching Krishna consciousness in ISKCON centers, yoga centers, schools, colleges, and universities. So previously also Maharaj has conducted the Bhakti Sadachar course and Namashray courses here in a very enlivening and interactive way. So very blessed to have Maharaj's association. Let us welcome Maharaj to Shishirada Vrindavan Chandra Temple by chanting Hribo, Hribo, Hribo. Thank you, Maharaj.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Canto 6, Chapter 2, and the chapter is entitled Ajamil, delivered by the Vishnu Dutas. Today's text 27. Dinmam vigar hitam sadbir. Duskritam kulaka jalam. Itva balam satim yoham. Surapim asatim agam. Dinmam vigar hitam sadbir. Duskritam kulaka jalam. Itva balam shantim yoham. Surapim asatim agam. Din mam vigar hitam sadbir. Duskritam kulaka jalam. Itva balam shantim yoham. Surapim ashatim agam. Mataji's. The word for word. Digmam. All condemnation upon me. Is there some translation going on somewhere? Okay. Vigarhitam, condemned. Sadbir, by honest men. Duskritam, who has committed sinful acts. Kulaka jalam, who has defamed the family tradition. Itva, giving up. Balam, a young wife. Satim, chaste. Ya, who? Aham, I. Surapim, with a woman accustomed to drinking wine. Asatim, unchaste. Agam, I had sexual intercourse. Verses spoken by Ajamil, condemning himself. So in the translation by Srila Prabhupada, alas, all condemnation upon me. I acted so sinfully that I degraded my family tradition. Indeed, I gave up my chaste and beautiful young wife to have sexual intercourse with a fallen prostitute accustomed to drinking wine. All condemnation upon me. And in the purport by Srila Prabhupada, this is the mentality of one who is becoming a pure devotee. That means not pure yet. When one is elevated to the platform of a devotional service by the grace of the Lord and the spiritual master, one first regrets his past sinful activities. This helps one advance in a spiritual life. The Vishnu Dutas had given Ajamil the chance to become a pure devotee. And the duty of a pure devotee is to regret his past sinful activities in illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating and gambling. Not only should one give up his past bad habits, but he must always regret his past sinful acts. This is the standard of a pure devotion. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In October of 1976, Srila Prabhupada was in Sri Vrindavan Dham, and he opened his mail and he received a very lengthy letter from one of his disciples who was in the sannyas ashram, but subsequently left the sannyas ashram because he was engaged in some activity with a woman who was not really a devotee. So prior to that, he was also a very prominent GBC member, and Srila Prabhupada had heard of his resignation as a governing body commissioner a month before from somebody else. But Srila Prabhupada did not directly hear from him of why he did that. And a month later, Srila Prabhupada receives this direct news directly from this devotee who was no more in the sannyas ashram and resigned as a governing body commissioner. And he wrote something to the effect that he's in a very miserable situation but he has a sort of Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Ki Jai. But he has a sort of like mixed feeling in his heart and consciousness. And the mixed feeling was that he's caught between his attachment and faith in Srila Prabhupada, and at the same time his inability to follow the regulative principles. This happens. So after Srila Prabhupada reading the lengthy letter, Srila Prabhupada was most sympathetic of his situation, and he very much appreciated his wayward disciples' sort of respect for him, and still he had some sense of internal commitment in Krishna consciousness despite his difficulties that he was going through. Yeah. So the leaving of a very prominent leader, a sannyasi and a GBC member at the same time, was actually a great blow to Srila Prabhupada and to the International Society for Krishna Consciousness as an institution. But yet, despite that, Srila Prabhupada took a personal interest in this disciple who apparently has fallen away from the regular practices of devotional service. So despite his inability to follow from the disciple side, and despite Srila Prabhupada being quite disappointed with him, Prabhupada definitely wrote back to him, but in a very encouraging way. And Srila Prabhupada's direct words are, I know that you are intelligent and can act very nicely to help spread Krishna consciousness. In other words, he's still encouraging him to be a preacher. And then Prabhupada continues that, and Prabhupada replied straight away to the letter. He didn't leave it aside. That's how concerned he was. Yeah. And then Prabhupada continues, if you feel Maya attracting, then live an honest life as a householder and contribute to our movement. And there's other things Prabhupada said, but it was a little lengthy. But the essence is that Prabhupada continues, if you think that you should be married, then do that and assist the Bhaktivedanta Institute by giving service. My request is, don't become an ordinary foolish man. Keep Krishna consciousness in any condition of life. That is success. And Prabhupada ends the letter like that. So yeah, we see in this particular verse today, by the association of the Vishnu Dutas and the, you could say, valuable dialogue with the Yamadutas, Ajamil became practically self-realized or God-realized. Yeah. And he is regretting his situation very much, just as this disciple is regretting his situation and still keeping connection with Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. So, and Ajamil already had some effect of sort of chanting the holy name. And Prabhupada and in other places, it's kind of called like a nama bas situation. You may have heard this before, right? Yeah. So I want to discuss that a little bit, and I'm looking at some other notes that I have had for that. Just give me a moment. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Srila Prabhupada, in a very beautiful lecture in Allahabad in 1971, amazing how such simplicity of these words from Srila Prabhupada. And I did about 3 days of research to come to this point of this particular lecture amongst so many other lectures on the stages in chanting the holy names. And I do this as a session in the Japa Shraya course also, so I thought it was appropriate for today also, in relation to Ajamil and in relation to the other devotee who had a similar situation. So we are quite familiar that there are 3 stages of chanting the holy name: Namaparad, Namabhas, and Sudanam. And that means it is normal in the formative stages of chanting the holy name that one will chant with offenses. It is not a problem to chant with offenses. It's normal. Because when one leaves the consciousness of the material world, one still brings one's nature, guna, one's baggage into spiritual practices. So it is unknowingly one may commit some offenses even while coming into the formative or beginning stages of practicing Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada addresses this very simply, and it's not Vaishnava aparad, and neither it is Seva aparad, but it is normal. Therefore there's a stage called Nama aparad. It's a stage that one goes through. It is not something that's offensive in the sense of the word aparad in relation to Nama aparad. It's not one of the 10 offenses to the holy name, Sadhu Ninda, Guru Avagya. It's not one of those 10 offenses. And Prabhupada addresses this very simply. And I'll read for you. From this beautiful lecture in January 15, 1971 in Allahabad. In that lecture, he speaks about the 3 stages. And Prabhupada says, so the first stage of chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is full of offenses. But Ajamil is not in that stage. It's interesting. Although he chanted meaning this in the name of his son Narayana, but Ajamil is above the stage of Namaparad. It's interesting. But Prabhupada says this is our beginning stages when we come to Krishna consciousness on a practical level. So Srila Prabhupada says the first stage of chanting Hare Krishna is full of offenses. Yeah. But, Prabhupada says, if one sticks to the principle Therefore, we have to chant regularly 16 rounds at least to come out of the Nam aparat stage. Yeah. And then Prabhupada says, so even there are offenses by simply chanting and being repentant that, oh, I have committed this offense unnecessarily or without knowledge. So simply be repentant and go on chanting. Of course, there's a third feature to this, which I include in the session that I teach. On a practical level, it is not so easy, because you can only be repentant if you are aware that you committed an offense unnecessarily or without knowledge. If you're not aware, you won't be repentant. And that is why it is so important to be in the association of devotees and allow oneself to be corrected. The most important factor to be in the association of devotees is to allow oneself to be corrected. So when one allows oneself to be corrected, then your false ego will not rise. Why are you saying this to me? Don't you know who I am? Don't you know I joined before you? So many things come up with the false ego. So if you wear the consciousness, W-A-R, in your heart of allowing oneself to be corrected, it's much easier to be repentant or regretful. Prabhupada is not saying this, I'm just telling you from my own practical experience in the association of devotees. Yeah. So there are two features that are most important here. One is that one has to be aware that one has committed an offense unnecessarily. Now that's very easy. This is not sadhu ninda, offending devotees. This is not guru avagya, disobeying the order of the spiritual master. This is not equating the demigods on the same names of Lord Vishnu. This is not part of the 10 offenses. So, can someone tell us, help me? What is an example of an offense that is committed unnecessarily, not while chanting japa or in kirtan, but in a general sense? In a general sense. Where's the microphone? We have a microphone? I think Radhesham was trying to tell us something.
I was telling in dealings with devotees.
No, that is, you're correct, but that's like a more advanced stage. He's too advanced for me. He's going to a stage that is not the beginning stages.
Like our Bharat Maharaj as a deer repenting.
Yes. That's
and
also
Parikshit Maharaj repenting when he returns.
Yes. But I want practical examples within ISKCON.
You read
bring
out
it
that
down
letter.
to the level. Bring it down.
One letter you read out a few minutes ago.
Yes, that's one practical example. Still, in broad categories, I'm trying to infuse you to come up with the answer, which I know. Some thoughts should be there. Anyone? It's like knowingly you do this activity, but it is unnecessary. Yes, Mataji? Send the microphone quickly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. What is your name? Put the mic, switch it on. What's your name?
Prerna. Prerna.
Prem? Prehana. Prerana. Okay, got it. Tell us.
Maharaj, I have heard this in His Grace Radhesham Prabhuji's lecture that don't become self-appointed advisor. That means sometimes...
Don't become?
Self-appointed advisor. That means sometimes...
That's nice, what you are saying. That's nice, quoting His Grace Radhesham Prabhu. No, I'm going to help you with the answer, since you have the microphone. There are activities that we do unnecessarily. And we can divide it into 3 broad categories, which has nothing to do with the 10 offenses of the holy name. Prabhupada is addressing that here. We know it is not favorable in Krishna consciousness, but we do it because we have some attachment for it that's coming from the material world that we used to be doing. It's like a formative beginning stages in Krishna consciousness. Prahana, you would like to try again? Give the microphone there. What's your name?
Krishna Dhwani.
Krishna?
Dhwani.
Dhwani. Krishna Dhwani, why are you holding the microphone in your left hand? Tell me.
Sorry, Maharaj.
Why are you holding the microphone in your left hand? Tell me. I know you put it in your right hand now, but why did you hold it in your left hand? What were you doing?
I was chanting.
You were chanting during Srimad Bhagavatam class?
Maharaj, this can be an example. This can be an example.
She's self-realized. Where's Mama and Papa?
I have come with my grandmother.
Grandmama. Where is she? Hare Krishna. She's also...
Maharaj,
She's
actually,
still doing it.
She doesn't understand English, so but she wants to sit in the...
So you're covering for her, that's good.
No.
So give me an example of an activity that you are attached to but is not favorable in Krishna consciousness, but you are not harming anyone else, you're not offending anyone else. Give me an example.
Using mobile phones.
Yes. So what's the broad word for that?
Addiction?
No. That type of activity, that you're giving an example of that type of activity.
Distraction?
No. What do you call that? Like, it's like watching TV, a mobile phone, WhatsApp or whatever. Even today, I don't know what is Facebook. I don't know how it works. don't do it. So, these things, what do you call that? Social media. Getting it? So that's one broad category. You can give details of those activities. Social media is unnecessary. I remember when I joined in 1983, I never had a cell phone. There was only one phone in the temple, in the reception. The line phone, landline phone. That's all. And things went on pretty well. Yeah. This internet and all that stuff is like a first-class disciple of Kali. first class Kali Chela. Oh, yeah. It's actually unnecessary. I don't know if you follow my example. Don't do it because you may not be so detached. My mobile phone is always in my room. If I leave my room, I don't take my mobile phone with me. It's a nice thing. And people are used to that. Or everyone who tries to phone, no, Maharaj may be out of his room, he's not there, and mobile phone is alone. I only carry the mobile phone when I go to airport. To switch it on then, in case flight thing, But it's a nice thing. I feel very peaceful doing that. Unless there's an emergency or something, it's a little different and you carry it. So you can train yourself. You don't have to be like a Kali Chela, with this thing. It's just too much. So that is unnecessary. That is unnecessary. So we have covered the social media, internet stuff. That's why they call it www. It's like it traps you in this web. Nice. Thank you very much. What's another broad category of, an example, but we can put it in a broad category. There's two other types of activities. Yes?
Unnecessary talk.
Yes, prajalpa. Mundane talks. It's unnecessary. And it's unnecessary, but one is attached to that. Prabhupada is addressing that. He's not addressing the 10 offenses. And another one? Yes, Prabhu. What's your name?
HareKrishna, Dandot Pranam Prabhu. My Suresh.
Suresh, Prabhu. Yes, tell us.
Getting attached to this Vaishnava attire, not wearing Vaishnava attire all the time.
No, that's okay. That's okay. But there's another activity completely. You did good, though. You did good. Yeah. Come on, broad category. Okay, let me ask somebody a question. Then you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Prabhuji, overeating, atyahar.
Huh?
Overeating.
Overeating.
Yeah.
Atyahar. Srila Prabhupada said that overeating for a young man like you is a good mistake. So you continue doing that. And then Srila Prabhupada looked at one elderly person. But for him, for an old person, body is old, under-eating is a good mistake. It's okay? But you have touched on a point that I'm looking at. Your answer was warm but not hot. Okay, so I'll ask a question, then you'll know what I'm talking about. See? Let's see, who's my transcendental victim? Should I ask you? He's got the microphone. What's your name?
Atulya Kirti Das. Atulya Kirti Das. Bird Association.
No, not necessarily for now. In a broad category, unnecessary activities, that's what we're talking about. Like unnecessarily doing it. Like social media, TV, movies, whatever, this, that, phone, Facebook. They throw the book on the face or something. Like that. And then the other thing is prajalpa, unnecessarily talking of mundane things. What's your name again?
Atulya Kirti Das.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, right? In the last 1 year, did you eat something that you like but it was not offered and cooked by non-devotees? Like chocolate, do you like?
No.
No. You sure?
I'm not aware.
Hmm?
I don't know.
Oh, you did it unknowingly now. Huh? Very strict devotee. It's very strict. Okay. So what's the answer? Anyone? Yes, eating food that is not cooked by devotees, even if it is without onions and garlic, even if it's vegetarian.
Just because
That-
it is tasty.
Just tell them, instruct them. Why?
Just because it is tasty.
Yes.
Because Maharaj, when I was in 1993, 94 in Chopari temple, newly joined, Maharaj used to do evening programs in housing colonies. So they used to have, like conferences, they have this food which they serve. Like that kind of, with all uniform and everything.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
They're serving. So brahmacharis used to line up with all people and eat. So, so I also once ate, although it was very attractive, but late night we would return back. So next day we had a meeting with my special master. One of the meeting we brought it up saying that Maharaj, every day your program gets very late. Some brahmacharis are eating at 9:30 in the night. Maharaj said, really? But that prasadam is cooked in the temple and they should finish by 5:30. Why do they eat that late night? That's for the outsiders. He was telling. And Maharaj clearly said what you said. If brahmacharis eat that food, they'll go down.
They definitely went down. Yes. If you eat food cooked by non-devotees.
But it was attractive because big variety.
It's very. If you eat food cooked by non-devotees and if you attach to it, like that. So sometimes, the mother may say, but Maharaj, my son is small, he likes chocolates. Sometimes he says, take one bite. No. We should give him nice carob chocolates offered and everything and give him a positive alternative like that. So it's important these three categories are there. Prajalpa, absorbing oneself unnecessarily in social media things. And the other thing is eating food cooked by non-devotees. That is unnecessary. So that is a measure mark to know whether you're coming out of the Namaparad stage of chanting. You can measure yourself like that. Don't worry about the 10 offenses, first deal with this. Is that okay?
Accumulation also comes in this because many times we get things.
Can you hold it closer, your microphone?
Many times we get things thinking that will be helpful, but later on it unnecessarily creates headache in maintaining it.
Yes.
That also comes in the same.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada gave a nice example. No. The devotees gave a nice example of Srila Prabhupada himself. Like that. So Srila Prabhupada was on the Vyasa-san, maybe in the Bhaktivedanta manner, and he was giving a class. And after the Srimad Bhagavatam class in the morning, Srila Prabhupada was wearing a very expensive, it was given as a gift to him, like an offering, like a Guru Dakshin. He was wearing a very expensive cashmere sweater, a little coat, and he's wearing it, very expensive. And he was just given that maybe a day or two before, and he wore it for the first time. So somebody came after the class to Srila Prabhupada and gave him another, they call it a sweater. What do you call it here? Like a jersey? Yeah. But this one was less expensive, an inexpensive sweater. Not very, and it wasn't cashmere, wool. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada immediately, he took out the expensive sweater, right? And he gave it to the person who gave him the gift, and he took the inexpensive one and wore it. Like he said, atyahara, not over accumulating more than one needs. Like that. So it's quite important that there's a phase in our Krishna consciousness that we have to overcome. We're not talking about the 10 offenses, that's another thing. That's another thing. Just our own likes of attachment to things that are not favorable in Krishna consciousness. I'll give you one example. It's quite an interesting example. One devotee who was close to me, he never lived in an ashram, and generally now people are being initiated who are just in the congregation mainly, all over the world. Except maybe in India you get a brahmachari ashram situation, which is actually very valuable even for the congregation to see and make progress spiritually. Yeah. So I asked, how is your progress in spiritual life? I didn't see him for about 4 years. I didn't go to that area because of the lockdown and everything. So I said, how is your progress in spiritual life? He said, yeah, I am progressing. I said, tell me how. You already know? He said, well, first I used to watch movies of that type. I said, tell me that again. He saw I was like a little bit surprised. He said, no, I want to explain. I used to watch movies of that type, which means like, I said, what type? He said, all movies when you watch nowadays, it's like you break the four regulative principles, and I was attached to watching that. Then I said, how did you progress? You said, so no, then I started watching like biographical, like real life made into movies, like something that happened real. I said, is that progress? He said, yes. And I said, what's the next progress? He said, then I went to documentaries, And they still feel, I'm a devotee, I'm a devotee. Because they progressed in that. I was literally shocked. You getting the idea? And then in Vrindavan, we don't go to the MVT restaurant much now. There's other restaurants that have come up. They're better actually. That type of talk you hear, amongst devotees. Like that. So one has to be really careful. It's not to commit offenses unnecessarily. Onto one's own self. You're not affecting others so much, but you may be influencing others to do the same activity. Ajamil never had this problem. He got so purified by just hearing the conversation of the Yamadutas. He went straight to Namabhas. Straight to Namabhas. So he's in a better situation than these other things that we do unnecessarily. Okay, I'll just say one more thing and then I'll take some questions or comments. Okay, so in this category of Namabhas in relation to Ajamil's situation here, Prabhupada continues with the lecture, and I'll read that and I'll explain a little bit and then we'll continue. The next stage is Namaparad Namabhas. Prabhupada calls it clearing stage in English. So Prabhupada says, so simply be repentant and go on chanting. Repentant that you ate chocolate. Repentant that you watched this movie and it's affecting your chanting. Repentant you shouldn't have spoken bad about this devotee or spoken about politicians and it's contaminated your consciousness. Like that. It's prajalpa. So simply be repentant and go on chanting. And then the stage will come it is called namabhas. That is offenseless. When there are no more offenses, that is called namabhas. At namabhas stage, one becomes liberated immediately. So what does this mean? Prabhupada says that the namabhas stage is not something you can achieve. It's not something you can demand. And it's not something that you can command and say, I've been chanting for 15 years now. I've been chanting for 25 years. Surely I'm on the namabhas stage. Doesn't work like that. Prabhupada's words are simple. Prabhupada says, then the stage will come. It is called namabhas. It is not by your chanting sincerely and trying to hear that the namabhas stage that you'll achieve. Prabhupada says, then the stage will come. It indicates you have to keep your heart open to receive. Whether it comes or not, it doesn't matter. But you have to keep your heart open to receive. So the namabhas stage, which is the mercy of the holy name, comes by its own accord and it descends by its own mercy, by its own free will into your heart. You cannot demand it, you cannot achieve it as a result of your sadhana, and you cannot command it. That is being, begging for mercy and blessings at the lotus feet of the holy name. It comes by its own sweet will. That's namabhas. And Ajamil was so fortunate to have received that, practically immediately. Is that all right? Any comments or questions? We have two hands up here. So the hand in the back went up faster than the hand in the front. So pass the microphone to the back first. Yes. What's your name?
HareKrishna Maharaj, Dharmapram Maharaj.
Your name?
My name is Devshekhar Vishnudas.
Shekhar?
Devshekhar Vishnudas.
Dev?
Shekhar Vishnudas.
Deva Shekhar Vishnu Prabhu. Tell us.
Thank you for wonderful lecture, Maharaj.
What was wonderful?
The first, everything was wonderful, but one point I liked the most was, regarding how we are into all this. We are unnecessarily doing all the three things.
Who's we?
Myself and...
Yes. Don't dump everyone else in your own consciousness. Be very careful,
Sorry, Maharaj.
No, tell them sorry. Offer obeisances to everyone. Say Vanchakalpa. Say, because you dumped everyone in it.
Sorry to everyone.
Offer obeisances. Say
okay.
Vanchakalpa.
Vanchakalpa.
Nice. That was a quick Vanchakalpa. Okay, what's your comment or question?
My question is regarding Maharaj. Recently, just wanted to clarify something because it came up in the lecture that we often see people changing their ashrams, and I totally agree, as you told, that brahmachari ashram is the pillar of our movement. But often happens
when you say that, I know I'm not stopping you in your completing your question. But when you say the brahmachari ashram is the pillar of our movement, are you a brahmachari?
No, I'm not a brahmachari.
Are you married, grihastha?
Yes, bro. Yes, Maharaj.
So what's your realization that the brahmachari is a pillar of our movement? What is your realization? I'm curious, because I have no experience in grihastha ashram. So what is I'd like to hear your realization and learn from you why you say it's the pillar of our movement.
Yes, Maharaj. So
because when you're a brahmachari or a sannyasi and you didn't marry and you took sannyas, we may not know why is it. Others can see. Because we can't glorify ourselves that we are the pillars. right? So I'd like to learn from you and your realization of why the brahmachari ashram is the pillar in our movement.
Yes, Maharaj. So basically, Maharaj, actually, we as a householder, we are not always.
Say me, I.
Oh, okay, sorry. Actually, we are taught to say we, so that's why I, if I say that, okay, I will use I. So I as a personal, I will not be available 24/7 because I have my household duties and all. Brahmacharis are there to take care of temple, take care of devotees, and they are the one who are basically making sure that the show is running. Because as a householder, we are caught up in so many duties. We have relatives.
Perfect. I understand. Because time is not on our side.
Yeah.
Mahaprasade Govinde Sariragaji. Come here. We good so far? Right. I'm going to still take your question. Question. So he's giving a valid realization that the brahmacharis have more time and they do not have to spend time on like household duties, being a mother, father, husband or wife and so forth. So that's nice that they are more there for you to get inspiration from, to be more spiritually situated in Krishna consciousness. We okay so far? Yeah. Now, which brahmachari would like to speak of why the householders are also pillars in our movement? The grihastha devotees, they also are pillars, right? So who would like to tell us one point of your realization as a brahmachari, why the grihasthas, devotees, they're also pillars. Who can tell us? Yugal Sham wants to say. Okay. Yugal Sham Prabhu. Okay, Yugal Sham Prabhu, tell us. Give us one realization how they are also, like you, they're seeing you as a pillar, but you also see them. No, without them we cannot function or something, Go ahead.
But it's like they are financially supporting the temple, and along with that, many managerial aspects they are also taking care of in the temple.
Wonderful. Nice. So it frees the brahmacharis to go preach more and engage in chanting, book distribution, and so. Wonderful. Thank you. Now let's get your question.
So Maharaj, my question is, we often see very stalwart devotees. Recently also we heard in one stalwart devotee, he changed his ashram. So is it, and also we see so many people who have given their life for the movement, and when they change their ashram, all of a sudden the Pandora box gets open and we try to blaspheme them. So, and we often see that in India basically, when somebody changes ashram, it is looked down as a fall down, that somebody has fallen from the grace. So, so my question is it not that, if somebody has given his life for the movement, and is it not, if we keep on, blaspheming them for some little mistake, is it not a blasphemy? And how to get out of that mentality? And one more point I want to add, that whenever this happens, people are just taken out from their responsibility and they are, sent to the gallows kind of a thing, wherein, nobody...
But that's a strong word you're using.
It's a social pariha, they becomes a social pariha.
Gallows means they got hanged in public or something.
Gallows means socially they are sidelined or, seen as untouchable because they have changed the ashram. So I personally want to understand how not to blaspheme in this situation and how not to get into a mentality when we keep on judging a devotee who have given their life for...
Okay, got it. Right. Now, can I ask you a question to answer your question?
Okay.
I'm quite famous for this.
Okay.
Now, when you preach to a new person who's not following any of the regulative principles, or maybe following something, maybe they're pious, right? Yeah. Now you are preaching to this person, right? Say Mr. Sharma, you're preaching to. So when you bring him to the temple and the association of devotees, and you see that he's making progress, like now he's chanting out 2 rounds, you're excited, right? He's chanting 2 rounds of japa, That's very good. Do you see his other things?
No.
No. What do you see?
I just see his focus for chanting. I desire
He's
to
making progress
correct.
towards Krishna's lotus feet. But what you don't know, that Mr. Sharma was a devotee in the last life.
Correct, Maharaj.
That you don't know.
Yes, Maharaj.
You getting it?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. But you don't see that how he has fallen in the last life. Right?
Yes.
So if you take that same example of Mr. Sharma, I'm just making up some person in relation to you, of Mr. Sharma. Now, devotees may have multiple lives in the present life in terms of the body. So they may have been practicing Krishna consciousness nicely, and they still practice nicely in another way, in another ashram. But if you see them making progress again, we only see that, we don't see why they left. You getting it?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. And it's not a question of losing a perfect role model that you saw before, and now that role model that you used to emulate and follow is no more that role model. It's not even like that. Because if you take the example of a new person coming, so you can also give that yourself the same consciousness. Oh, he was a nice devotee, but now he went back to something like his old ways, but now he's coming again. So you see him like in a new light, like the new person coming. And you won't see the other stuff, like how you do it to like Mr. Sharma.
Yes, Maharaj.
And that helps me a lot to see like that. See? Now, what you touched upon is a little different because, obviously, it's like, you may not be involved in administration and management as other devotees do. Yourself, like that. But if one comes, like I come from a very experienced background in Krishna consciousness for the last 40 years, of being involved in management, of major temples, and dealing with major brahmachari ashrams and dealing with over 5,000 devotees initiated in a congregation that's surrounding the temple in Durban, like that. So with multiple initiating gurus, so it's not an easy thing. See? But if somebody doesn't have that experience or administration and management and they comment, it's not fair. It's not fair. See? So you can ask why to those persons, but this is not a Bhagavatam class discussion. Because I felt that in your question, in your inquiry, that you're discussing like how come this devotee is treated this way, whereas previously he was involved in administration and management or involved as a spiritual guide. See, you with me?
Yes, Maharaj, I agree.
So to be involved in administration and management, such questions are not asked in the Bhagavatam class. They never asked Prabhupada that in a Bhagavatam class.
I have noted this, Maharaj. It's a learning for me. Thank you.
It's a learning. So such questions shouldn't be asked in this forum. If we can ask it in a closed forum to the devotees concerned, would be better.
Okay, Maharaj.
However, during Srila Prabhupada's time, everyone lived in the temple. Everyone lived in the temple. But because we have this vastness of the congregation, which is a shift of the preaching and those devotees, they tend to bring such things into a Bhagavatam class because they haven't been trained to live in a temple. And it's not their fault, it's just the nature of expanding in a congregational way. So they tend to bring questions like that, which is actually not a principle that Prabhupada has given us in a Bhagavatam class. In a Bhagavatam class is purely how to progress in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Maharaj.
Is that all right?
Yeah, makes sense, Maharaj.
Now, I am not here to defend any management. I am just telling you that we have to follow Prabhupada, of how he did things. Yeah. One early disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Hansadutta Prabhu, I'll just give a Prabhupada anecdote. So he was personally serving Prabhupada. I think he passed on now, maybe. Hansadutta. Maybe, yeah. So he was recollecting that just before the Srimad Bhagavatam class, Prabhupada was like in a very full-on and low mood, because he just read some letters that he had to respond to. There were some difficulties in management and administration in a certain part of the world with one of his senior disciples. Like that. See? And Hansadutta Prabhu was with him. And Hansadutta Prabhu knew, because he knew the contents of the letter. Because sometimes Prabhupada dictates and he says, now start writing, or as a dictaphone. And he has to put it into like words. Like that. So Hansadutta Prabhu, he recalled that when Prabhupada left his room to go down to give the Bhagavatam class, he said he was amazed. What he just read in the letter to answer to was like a major issue or challenge in administration management in ISKCON in a particular part of the world. It was actually in relation to Hawaii, a temple in Hawaii. I'm just giving you a detail. But when he came down in Los Angeles, in the Vyasa-san, you'll never say Prabhupada was like, in so much anxiety of reading that letter about one of his leading disciples and so. You'll never say that. Prabhupada was completely equipoised and gave a perfect class. So I learned from that too. See? Then later on, Hansadutta asked Srila Prabhupada. He said, Srila Prabhupada, I'm amazed. Prabhupada said, what is that? He said, no, you gave a perfect class from the Srimad Bhagavatam discussing Krishna consciousness and like pure Krishna consciousness. Right? And then he went back up. And then the Prabhupada said, bring the letter. It's like he cut off perfect class to the devotees, went back immediately when he entered the room, I'm dictating. But never brought it in the Bhagavatam class, even when speaking. Perfectly like that. So then, Hansadutta asked Srila Prabhupada, this is amazing. This is amazing. This is Srila Prabhupada. He didn't bring that consciousness there. So Hansadutta asked Srila Prabhupada something to the effect, how do you do this? Like that. Then Srila Prabhupada said, he quoted verse, Srinvatam Swakata Krishna, that if you want to become spiritually qualified, that punya is different from punya and pap, that verse. It's different. Punya Shravana Kirtana. It doesn't bring you piety because you lose your sinful life. No, it brings you into Krishna consciousness on the absolute platform. Prabhupada quoted such a verse. He said, then Srila Prabhupada said something to the effect that I am not dealing with administration and management in my society in this room. In order to resolve that, Prabhupada said you have to have an Istagosti. Istagosti means not Mustigosti. You understand? Istagosti means talking about administration, talking about management, talking about care for devotees, talking about in general how to improve our relationships with each other. That is called Istagosti. And he said that's a different thing. That's in a closed forum, only with devotees, not in a public forum, in a temple room and so forth. I learned that because I also made mistakes from the Vyasa-san. And I'll give you my own personal example. Why not? When I was president in Raratna temple, this is like 30 years ago, so more, in Durban. One devotee devotee in like a temple council meeting agitated me. Like he made me angry, but I didn't show it. I could hide my feelings, which is not a nice thing to do also. Because if you hide your feelings, you won't become purified from it, like that, yeah. But I won't hide my feelings with close friends. I'll tell them how I feel. That's different. Yeah. So the next day I was giving Bhagavatam class in the morning, and I saw you were sitting there and hearing. So I somehow took one point from the purport and I hit him. So during prasadam time, we were all taking prasadam, and I was the president, like that. So everyone went to the devotee and said, you see, that was meant for you. I shouldn't have done that. In retrospect, I shouldn't have done that. So even asking questions in that nature is not the best thing to do. Is that all right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Therefore, ISKCON is very important for us. ISKCON is the common understanding in the English language of ISKCON is called communication. Not resolving things, but communicate how you feel. That's about it. That's called ISKCON. But the modern word, communication.
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, maybe...
Prasadam is waiting.
Just this one small point, Maharaj.
You cannot offend Prasad.
Okay, I will talk to you in person, Maharaj.
But you're going to ask a question about... I've given you a principle of how to ask a question. Let's see if you changed.
Yes, Maharaj.
Tell us the question.
Maharaj, maybe I was actually I was not trying to question the authority, and that was
no. You were questioning the authority.
Okay, so maybe
I'll be very frank.
I apologize for that. Maybe my words.
But not now. In the ISKCON, you can do that.
Okay, Maharaj.
Not yet.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask Maharaj. My nutshell, I wanted to ask how to not blaspheme the devotees. How to bring that mood to not blaspheme these devotees. That was my question, Maharaj.
Oh, that's a nice question.
Yeah, that was my question.
We'll end with that, right? Is that okay? Yeah. You see, it's very easy to serve somebody that you're attached to and like. Right? Because you're attached to somebody and you have a good relationship, it's easy to serve them. Isn't it? But that's prejudiced. Then you're prejudiced. But that devotee, I don't like him, so I won't serve him. That's prejudice. So what you should do, and also reminding myself that I should do it, that if I have a slight dislike for somebody, I won't be inclined to serve them. Then it's all the more I should serve that person I dislike to remove the dislike from my own heart. But don't tell them, Prabhu, I'm serving you because I don't like you. You're getting it? Whether they accept your service or not, you have made the attempt not to please them. You're making the attempt to purify yourself of your own dislike. That's important. Because there's no prejudice of serving in Goloka Vrindavan. You have to do it here and purify yourself of that. So therefore we should learn to serve devotees without any discrimination. Even if we are not liking them. That's without discrimination. That's not easy. So therefore especially to be like a temple president or a department head, they know that the devotees are serving with them, and they know this devotee doesn't like me, but we live under the same roof, so to speak. But they don't discriminate because I have to still care for him, although he doesn't like me. Because I'm responsible for his welfare. So they serve without discrimination. A temple president has to serve without discrimination. But the devotees under his or her care, they will serve with discrimination, although they can see, okay, he's my authority, but I know I don't like him, he knows that, but still is serving me. still is paying the electricity bill, still is making sure that prasadam is there for breakfast. See the difference? So the more you take responsibility in Krishna consciousness, the more you will serve devotees without discrimination. That's important. Although they may discriminate against you still, under your care. That is important. Is that okay? Now can I just say one more thing?
Thank you.
Please forgive me if I...
Please forgive me, Maharaj. I'm very sorry. Yeah.
Please forgive me if my tongue is very sharp at times.
It's for my purification, Maharaj.
Then I'll do it more often.
Yeah, please. Yes, please, Maharaj. Yes.
It's my sense gratification, I'm sorry. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki,
Jai.
Bhagavat Breakfast Prasadam ki, Atai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Bhakti Brihat Bhagavat Swami Maharaj ki.
Skes Radhesham Prabhu ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. Good news for all of you. Maharaj will be giving tomorrow morning's Bhagavatam class also. So you can invite. So Maharaj is very, very deep, as you have seen. You have to be very careful when we speak to him. If you want to glorify devotees, you can say we. But when you have to, when any fault has to be said, Maharaj is very attentive to check whether I said I or we said we. So we have a wonderful experience with him, with Maharaj in Bhakti Sadachar course and also in Japa course. Actually, he has very deeply taught about the Trinada Pishunichana verse on humility and tolerance. That's one of the main things of Bhakti Sadachar course. So the kind of deep explanation he gave there, this is a further extension of that. So it's such a wonderful thing to hear from him. Thanks to him. Thanks to him for coming and living in our temple. And
Stop giving a lecture about me.
Okay, we'll chant Hari Bol and thank Maharaj. Hari Bol! Hari Bol!